This video was produced by the UCD Maths Support Centre in conjunction with the UCD Access Centre. In this video, we're going to be looking at an example of how to show that a line is a tangent to a circle for a higher level example. So in this case, we are asked to show that the line 3x minus 4y plus 10 equals 0 is a tangent to the circle x squared plus y squared minus 10x equals 0. And to do this, we need to make a note that if a line is tangent to a circle, then the perpendicular distance from the center of the circle to the line will be equal to the radius length of the circle. And we can see this if we just go over here for a moment. If we draw a circle and say a tangent here, and the circle has a center here, if we draw a line from the center perpendicular to this line, so if this is perpendicular, well, we know that this line, red line here, is our radius of our circle. So if that perpendicular distance there is the same as our radius length here, then we know that that line, that blue line that I've drawn there, will be a tangent. So we'll go back to our example here. So we're given the equation for our tangent, we're given the equation of our circle. So the first thing we need to do is to find the center and the radius of this circle. So we have the equation for our perpendicular distance formula is 3x minus 4y plus 10 equals 0. And we have the center, since this is the general form of a circle, and you'll recall that that is x squared plus y squared plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equals 0. If we look at that formula there, we can see that the center are minus g minus f for circles of this type. Well, we'll have 2g, the number in front of x, being equal to minus 10, so minus g will be 5. There's no value for y here, there's only a y squared, there's no y coefficient here, so our f in this case is going to be 0. So what we have to do is we have to see if the perpendicular distance between this point and this line is equal to the radius of this circle. So the easier part of that will be to work out our radius. So our square root of g squared plus f squared minus c. If we look at the general equation and our equation, well, we know that g is 5, we know that f is 0, and we have no constant in this equation here, so our c is also 0. So we have the square root of 25, so our radius for this circle is 5. So now the next question is this perpendicular distance equal to 5 or not? So we can see from our perpendicular distance formula shown here, we have to fill in our values for a, b, c, x1 and x2, x1 and y1, sorry, you might recall from the formula. So in our case, we have a is the number in front of x in our line, 3. B is the number in front of y, so minus 4. C is the constant in our line, so plus 10. Our x1 is the x coordinate, so 5. Our y1 is our y coordinate, so 0. Filling in all these values into this formula in their rightful places, we end up with this line here. Simplifying the top, we have 3 times 5 is 15, minus 4 times 0 is 0, plus 10. On the bottom, we have a 3 squared, which is 9, plus a 4 squared, which is 16. 9 plus 16 is 25, and we're taking the square root of that. So we end up with 25 over 5, which is 5, which is the same as our radius length over here. So therefore, the line 3x plus 4y plus 10 equals 0 is a tangent to x squared plus y squared minus 10x equals 0. Because it satisfied this condition up here, that the perpendicular distance from the center of the circle to the line is equal to the radius length of our circle. 5 is the same as 5.